813 kilometers in length. We're approaching downtown Lyon, and in the distance you can see coming up a futuristic, funky looking building. It is that Museum of Anthropology. Now this museum, we're going to get very close to it. It will be on your right hand side, is known as the Museum of Confluences, Musée des Confluences. So what does confluence mean? It means the point, the location where two rivers actually meet, merge. And it is the case here. This museum was built at the location where the Rhone, the mighty Rhone, meets a much smaller river called the Sun River. Okay, we're going to cross the Somme as well in just a minute as we approach this Museum of Anthropology. Again, this Museum of Anthropology was opened in 2014, and present for the grand opening was the former president. His name was François Hollande. He was a very disliked president. He was unfortunate because on, I believe, the first week after his election, he was caught by paparazzis there driving away with his mistress on a motorcycle through Paris. And then he went downhill from there for him, okay? But to your right, guys, we're now going to cross this small river, the Sun River. And again, this Museum of Confluences, built here in 2014. Again, Museum of Modern Art and Anthropology. It's basically controversial looking building. I think it looks kind of cool. It looks different, okay? And again, we're crossing this small river, guys, the Sun. And again, to your right, you see the titles there, guys. Move over, small white bus. Musée des Confluences, right there, guys. Museum of Confluences. Again, the location where two rivers meet. The Sun meets the much bigger Rhone River. So, okay, guys, this is Lyon, France's third biggest city with about 2.4 million people, located in, well, east central France, about an hour and a half away from the Alps, also about an hour and a half away from Geneva, just under 2 hours actually. Geneva, Switzerland's second biggest city. Now, again, guys, Lyon is known as a chemical center, a pharmaceutical center, a software center. A lot of France's software and computer companies are headquartered not in Paris, but in Lyon. Of course, Lyon is also known as, again, this gastronomy capital of France. This is normal, guys. We have a little bit of traffic because we're about 2 kilometers away from a tunnel, and that tunnel is a 2-lane tunnel, so traffic is always common here. It shouldn't be too bad, just some, driving slowly, bumper to bumper occasionally, but it shouldn't be anything too major. So, a gastronomy capital of France, Lyon, just like Dijon, home to 2 annual food fairs, attracting many tens of thousands of, again, food lovers. And as I said, many of France's greatest chefs will not only originate here from this area, but also be schooled and trained here, and then later on in life will work at some very expensive, exclusive restaurants throughout the world. And many of those chefs, again, studying here, will become known as Michelin star-rated chef. Michelin, guys, is a tire maker, a tire brand, Michelin, but it's also a company that basically hands out prizes and also rates chefs and restaurants. The more stars a chef or restaurant has, the better the quality of the food, but usually also the more expensive the restaurant will get, okay? So again, food is taken very seriously in this city of Lyon. A lot of good restaurants, also a lot of beautiful buildings, okay? The downtown area of Lyon, especially centered in and around the Place des Terreaux. Place des Terreaux is the main square in Lyon. There you'll find the beautiful City Hall. It's a 16th century building. It's a protected site. And also in Place des Terreaux you'll find a sculpture, a monument built by who? Frederick Bartholdi. Remember, guys, this guy who built the Statue of Liberty in New York City in 1886. He also built this raging line of Belfort. Remember, guys, on Saturday we drove to Switzerland. Before we got there, I mentioned this raging lion, this 22-meter long line built by Bartholdi in Belfort. Well, we also built a sculpture here. It's actually also a fountain. It's both. It's a sculpture and a fountain at the same time. Again, located on Place des Terreaux. Okay. What else, guys, about Lyon? Oh yeah, it's the birthplace of a very famous set of brothers, okay, the Lumiere brothers. And the Lumiere brothers were instrumental basically for the development of the movie-making business, or cinema, because they came up in the 1890s with an invention that would revolutionize movie-making. This invention had a name. It's called the cinematograph, the first ever motion film picture camera, okay? And of course, it developed, it would later evolve to become what we now use in the movie-making business, okay? But the cinematograph, again, invented by the Lumiere brothers, and they actually originate from this city. Now, it is easy to come to Lyon, guys. There's a train station there that links Lyon to Paris. You get to Paris in about 2 hours, guys, so much quicker than we will. And there's even an airport known here as Saint-Exupéry. Again, Saint-Exupéry is a famous writer, also of France. But from Saint-Exupéry, you'll be able to fly to Paris, to other parts of France, and even other parts of Europe. It's not the biggest of airports. Nice, for example, is much more important. Nice handles a lot more international passengers, but Saint-Exupéry will allow you to fly into this city, not just by car or train. As we make our way now to this bridge, we're going to clear the bridge, and then we're going to turn left, use a tunnel. And then as we come out of the tunnel, to your right, you'll see that other famous building of Lyon. Again, Sainte-Marie des Fourvières. This church, again, dedicated to Mary, built on the hill of Fourvières. Fourvières is actually an area of Lyon. This church, which was built in 1884, was built to thank Mary, the Virgin, for her, basically, assistance in the 1600s when there was a plague raging through Lyon, killing many hundreds of local people. It was the pest, the Black Death. Well, Mary would have intervened, and she would have put a halt to the killing, the dying. Okay, and to thank her, to honor Mary and her intervention, they built this church. We'll see it again in hopefully just a couple of minutes. So be on the lookout for this church, guys. I'll be back on the mic in just a couple of minutes.